Fascists are drawn to AI-generated art not because it represents innovation, but because it represents the erasure of everything they distrust. Ambiguity, complexity, interpretation, the very soul of the humanities. They don't see art as something that is meant to challenge us, to invite empathy, or to reflect the richness of human experience. To them, art is either propaganda or blatant noise. It is something to be simplified, neutralized, or replaced by something more obedient. You can see this ideology play out clearly in the digital landscape with many YouTubers like The Critical Drinker, who have built entire platforms out of mocking any media that deviates from a narrow, regressive idea of what stories are allowed to be. To them, an ideal film is a Ronald Reagan biopic or a movie that is a throwback to a golden era where real men existed and simple morals were taught and everybody believed in whitewashed histories. Anything outside that mold, a diverse cast, a female lead, a queer subplot, it is ridiculed as woke garbage. It is not critique, it is cultural policing. It is a refusal to accept that other lives, identities, and perspectives have a right to exist in film, in television, in media, in any kind of art. This is why they love AI art. It is not original. AI doesn't think, it doesn't feel, it doesn't create anything new, it does not imagine. It regurgitates, it reassembles, it is literally a BS machine. AI assembles pieces of existing culture in a way that mimics form while erasing substance. That's the exact point. For fascists, AI represents a kind of ideal: art without artists, expression without authorship, culture without complication. It promises a future where stories no longer need to be told by marginalized voices or shaped by lived experience or questioned by free thinkers. AI doesn't rebel, it doesn't resist, it just produces. But what these people really hate isn't just new ideas, it's freedom itself. Freedom of thought, freedom of identity, freedom of difference. And this connects directly to their fear and disdain for foreign films. This fear of cultural difference is exactly why Donald Trump, in his perpetual tantrum against art that doesn't worship America, that doesn't feed the American propaganda machine, reportedly pushed tariffs on non-American films. On the surface, it's absurd, it's ridiculous, it's absolutely stupid, right? But dig deeper and it fits the same logic. Control the narrative and limit exposure to other ways of thinking. And this obviously feeds from his fury over Parasite winning Best Picture. It wasn't about cinema. It was about the illusion of cultural supremacy shattering in front of a global audience. A South Korean film that told a story about class, family, and inequality. And it did it a lot better than any American film that came out that year. That wasn't just a loss in his eyes, that was a threat, because foreign films are dangerous. Not in spite of their beauty, but because of it. They open our eyes, they deepen our empathy, they remind us that the world is varied and full of lives unlike our own. Watching films like Roma is not just about watching a Mexican film, but it is seeing the social and emotional landscape of a country from the inside. Shoplifters gives us a Japan that is rarely shown in popular media. It is not neo-soaked like, Tokyo and Shibuya or Samurai Laden, but intimate, raw, human, and Spirited Away, it rewrites the coming of age tale through a lens of myth and melancholy that is unique to its culture. And same thing with Drive My Car. It turns grief into poetry. Minari shows the American dream through immigrant lenses. And Parasite lays bare capitalism's cruel architecture. These films are mirrors and bridges. They are proof that art is bigger than any one nation and more powerful than any political agenda. This is what fascists cannot tolerate, that art might make us care about people who are not like us, that stories might teach us humility, that truth may come from somewhere else. So they push AI as a replacement, they push tariffs on foreign films, they mock, censor, and deride any cultural output that dares to imagine a freer, more diverse, more complex world. But we must resist against that. We must watch foreign films not out of obligation but out of necessity, because the more we engage with art from other cultures, the more we remind ourselves that no worldview, no nation, no ideology owns the truth. Art matters because it's messy, because it is human. The moment we give up on curiosity, the moment we stop listening to stories that aren't about us, we've surrendered the most vital parts of our humanity.